All right, so let's talk about the 2024 Nobel Prize in Economics. Well, on October 14th, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences announced the winners, Daron Acemoglu, Simon Johnson, and James Robinson. These guys really made waves with their work. I mean, their big thing is showing how social institutions are the real drivers of economic growth, not stuff like natural resources or geography. That's actually a pretty bold shift from what people used to think. Traditionally, we thought things like having a lot of resources or being in a great location determined whether a country got rich or stayed poor. But these economists are saying, nope, it's all about the institutions. That's huge, right? So let's dive into what they've been saying and what it means for us, especially in these times of rapid change. Let's get real here. Why is there such a massive gap between rich and poor countries? I mean, the richest countries today have income levels dozens of times higher than the poorest ones. Back in the day, people like Montesquieu thought geography was the key. He figured warm climates made people lazy and less ambitious, while colder climates kept people sharp and driven. That sounds a bit simplistic now, doesn't it? As humanity modernized, the influence of geography started fading. Countries with tons of natural resources didn't always end up rich. Just look at places like South America, Africa, or the Middle East. They have tons of resources, but aren't exactly economic powerhouses. So what gives? Well, culture's been another big factor people talk about. Max Weber, for instance, thought Protestant ethics, like hard work and frugality, helped capitalism thrive in Western Europe. But these economists are saying it's not really about culture either. It's about the rules of the game, the institutions. Take the Korean Peninsula, for example. You've got North Korea and South Korea, essentially a perfect experiment. Same people, same language, same geography, but totally different outcomes. South Korea embraced an open, inclusive system and became an economic powerhouse. Meanwhile, North Korea's closed, extractive system kept it stuck in poverty. By 2000, South Korea's income per capita was $16,100, while North Korea's was just $1,000. That's wild, right? Okay, so one example isn't enough. Let's zoom out. When Europeans started colonizing the world in the 15th century, they set up different kinds of institutions in different places. In some areas, like North America, they created systems to protect property rights and promote growth. But in other places, like the Caribbean or India, they built extractive systems to exploit resources and labor. And guess what? Those extractive systems left a long-lasting negative legacy. Acemoglu's work shows that where Europeans settled in large numbers, they brought inclusive institutions, like property rights and rule of law. But where they didn't settle, because of harsh climates or diseases, they just set up exploitative systems to funnel resources back to Europe. So yeah, institutions matter a lot. So here's a question. If inclusive institutions are so great, why doesn't everyone adopt them? Well, the thing is, powerful elites often resist change because it threatens their control. Imagine you're a dictator or part of a corrupt system. Even if reforms would make society richer overall, you're not going to give up your slice of the pie, right? Look at Russia's feudal system or China's old landlord system. These were efficient for their time, but they'd be a disaster now. Changing systems often requires revolutions or massive political shifts, and well, those aren't easy. All right, so let's bring this to today. We're in the middle of another big transition, from the industrial age to the AI age. And this is going to shake things up big time. Back during the Industrial Revolution, machines replaced a lot of manual labor, and people had to adapt. Some did, but others got left behind. Sound familiar? Think about the cotton gin in the American South. It made cotton production way more efficient, but it also entrenched slavery even deeper. Now fast forward to today. We've got AI and automation replacing jobs. Sure, tech like this boosts productivity, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. A lot of people, especially those without advanced skills, are being left out. In the US, income inequality has been skyrocketing. High-skilled jobs like software engineering or medicine pay more than ever. But for folks with just a high school diploma, yeah, not so much. Automation is a big part of that story. Jobs that used to be stable, like factory work or office admin, are disappearing. And even college grads are struggling to find their place. So what do? Well, it's clear that innovation isn't enough. We need to make sure the benefits are shared more fairly. One way is by creating new kinds of jobs that didn't exist before. Think about it. Today's doctors, designers, and even podcasters are doing things their counterparts couldn't have imagined 50 years ago. That's how we create growth and spread the wealth. But to pull that off, people need to keep learning. You've got to stay ahead of the curve. It's not easy, but it's the only way to thrive in a world that's constantly changing. So yeah, institutions matter a lot. They're the framework that shapes everything else, from innovation to inequality. And as we move into this AI-driven future, We've got to think hard about how to adapt our systems. It's not just about creating cool new tech. It's about building a society where everyone has a shot at success. All right, that's it for now. I mean, this stuff is fascinating, right? It's all about how we shape the future. So yeah, let's get to it.